So we just mapped out our entire content strategy for 2026, and we had to make some brutal cuts. 4 platforms made the priority list, but we had to cut 5 others from our blogging and business plan. So in this video, we are breaking down exactly which social media platforms made the cut, the ones we're doubling down on, and the ones we are walking away from. And we're also sharing with you the real reasons behind each one.
Hi everyone, we're the Branding Fix, 2 solo bloggers turned co-workers documenting how we're rebuilding our blogs in the age of AI. So welcome to co-working. Let's clock in, grab something to drink, get a little blanket, get comfortable, because over here, content creation and blogging is our business. And today we're going to be sharing our 2026 content strategy plan of what platforms we're going to be focusing on and which ones just did not make the list.
So our first priority platform is Instagram. And I think Instagram is a great platform to be on for bloggers, especially because I've been experimenting heavy on Instagram over the past few months, specifically as it relates to my blog. So in the past, I just used Instagram to promote content, but never really directing traffic to my blog. But over the past few months, I've really been focusing on it a lot. I actually have a hot take that I think Instagram is becoming more like a blog. We'll be talking about that in a separate video, but I actually think your audience for your blog is on Instagram, and using tools like ManyChats can really help you drive people who are interested in reading more about what you have to share on your blog. So ManyChats has been great. I've also been using Instagram stories, kind of like a mini vlog, so I can bring people in so they can get to know me and form a great connection, and also sharing just relatable pieces of content without driving traffic. And so far, the results have been great. I've gotten over 1 million views on my Instagram profile in under 60 days. I let the account go back down to nothing, and now I'm rebuilding again, and I already have close to 500,000 views in under 30 days. I am telling you, Instagram is the place to be. So if I can get a fraction of those 500,000 or 1 million viewers to my Instagram profile, to my blog, I will be golden.
The next platform that we are focusing on is Facebook. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Facebook is dead. Facebook is only for certain kind of people. But let me tell you, I've been experimenting on Facebook for the past month, and I actually see the traffic coming to the blog. I think there is something to be said for the fact that the audience that is on Facebook, it's already trained to click on links. They are already very comfortable with that. And when you put a link, whether it's to the blog or even to a YouTube video, I see the traffic actually coming through. And that is with me rebuilding basically my Facebook page, which does have an audience, but it's been inactive for a really long time. So I think that there's definitely a lot of potential there. Also, you do have potential with monetizing right on the platform. I do think that Meta pays better for monetizing on Facebook versus how they pay on Instagram. So that is definitely a perk over there. But overall, for driving traffic, I have seen huge improvement. And that is definitely something that I will continue to promote and focus on in the next year.
The third platform we're prioritizing is YouTube. And I know YouTube is a beast all on its own, but we actually feel YouTube is a great place to be for long-term content strategy. I have really been paying attention to just numbers and stats and seeing where people are. And YouTube is one of those platforms that has a constantly growing audience. YouTube is where people are watching things more than ever before. People aren't watching their TV like they used to. People are tuning into YouTube. Though it's not primarily a podcasting platform, in the United States, most people consume podcast content through YouTube. There's a lot of original series over there and lots more. So it's fair to say my audience, your audience, the odds are they are on YouTube, but we do recognize YouTube isn't going to be an overnight success platform. I've been on the platform for a year for my blog, and it has been a slow journey. However, since I've been on the platform, I've learned a lot more, and I tweaked my content strategy just a little, and my subscriptions doubled. I was at 500 for a really long time, 500 subscribers, and just by doing a little tweak, in less than 3 weeks, I got over 1,000. I'm also now paying attention to how I create content on the platform, and I'm utilizing the YouTube community tab. I feel so strongly about the YouTube community tab. I've been getting a lot of results there, not just to my blog, but as it relates to building a community and getting to know people and building that loyal base.
And the last platform that we are including in our strategy for 2026 is Pinterest. And I know you may have seen some people talk about how Pinterest is dying because there's a lot of AI content, but I am here to tell you that Pinterest is still driving traffic no matter what has changed on the platform. I literally was looking at my stats yesterday, and there is a pin from last year that is getting over 10,000 impressions just this month randomly. So I think that there is something to be said for the platform. You need to continue creating great content, and that is something I'm going to be focusing on. I am changing my strategy just a little bit on what I am posting on Pinterest, but definitely it's a great traffic driver, and it is an important tool in our toolbox for driving traffic to our blog.
Well, now that we've told you the platforms that we are prioritizing, let's talk about the platforms we are skipping. So we are skipping TikTok. I know that might be controversial. We are also not planning to show up on Threads, Twitter, now known as X, Blue Sky, or Snapchat. So we don't think they're a good fit. I think the big thing is the time commitment, but also having to learn each platform's culture. Why aren't you planning to show up on these, Fran?
I think the biggest thing for me, and I can group Twitter, Blue Sky, and Threads in one, is the fact that I was kind of active on Twitter many years ago. And the thing with the culture of all those three platforms is the fact that you have to be on the platform. You have to interact on the platform. These are not platforms that you post your stuff and you think that it's just going to do well. Even if you're posting a thread, you really need to be actively engaged. You need to be interacting with other people's content besides also your own. So you really need to be a member of the community in those platforms in order for those to work. And I just don't have the time to dedicate to those the way that they deserve. So it's just me showing up to post something and seem transactional and promotional. Then I don't think it's serving the community well. So I'm definitely not going to even try. It's like showing up bad for something. So why show up at all?
Yes, I agree. You do need to be a member of the community. You can't just post content and dip for sure. But as it relates to TikTok, TikTok has been going through massive changes. I know at the beginning of the year, we were all thinking TikTok is going to be banned. I mean, it did have a brief stint of being banned. However, we are able to use TikTok for folks in the United States. However, the sentiment towards TikTok has been changing. I have been hearing from big content creators that I consume, and they're saying they're seeing the differences firsthand. So the algorithm is changing. The main unique thing about TikTok that people used to love is the fact that you can just have random discovery. You can just randomly break out. But with the change of ownership with TikTok, we don't know who's going to own TikTok, but we know that is happening. People are fearful of changes of the algorithm, and they're already seeing changes happening now. And also from a consumer side, consumers are very wary about TikTok. I always have TikTok conversation when I go to like the supermarket or I'm mailing out some packages and I see my regular people and they consume a lot on TikTok and they are feeling very wary about the platform. So often when I ask, where are you going to next? They are saying YouTube, and we are also banking that in the future, people are going to transition more to YouTube. So we want to get on YouTube early, which is why we're prioritizing it. And again, it's just a time thing. We know we can't be everywhere all the time.
Yes, and actually time is our most valuable resource right now. We are solopreneurs here, so we don't have a whole team that we can delegate. Oh, well, you handle this social media or you handle all of my social media. We are doing this all ourselves. So a lot of times it's all about time, actually. Like, where can we invest our time to have the biggest impact? And that is the main reason why we chose these four platforms, is the fact that they are the best time investment for the results that they can provide. Now, if you're watching that and that is different for you, that is something you have to analyze for yourself. Where is your time and energy better spent for the results that you're getting? But when it comes to driving traffic to blogs, I think that the ones that we chose are pretty much the ones that are going to drive the most clicks to an external source. I think another thing with the ones that we are cutting is the fact that they're not really meant to be traffic drivers, because people like to stay on the platform.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a lot to think about when deciding what platforms you want to be on. We just share the platforms that we are prioritizing. But another important thing that I've learned being a content creator is that you need to be nimble. Okay, so things might change, things might happen. Francesca has been teaching me a lot about just letting things go and not holding on and making a fuss. So we are also still keeping an open mind in 2026. We don't know what is around the corner, but for now, this is our plan until further notice. But we are co-workers, so we will keep you in the loop if anything changes and if we decide to prioritize or deprioritize a social media platform. But now that we're wrapping up part 1 of our content planning series, this is going to be a 4-parter. In the next content planning video, we're really going to get into the specifics of how we are planning new blog post content, how many new blog posts we're doing, also our email newsletter strategy, how many emails we'll be sending, any bonus email, just all the details as we are planning out our content for 2026, again, specifically for our blog and our email newsletter. So be sure to check out our next content planning videos and tune into the entire series to get our full strategy.
All right, team, it's time to clock out. We've gone through a lot, I know, and hopefully that gives you some tidbits to actually think about for yourself as well. So let us know in the comments what are going to be the platforms that you prioritize for 2026. Maybe what are the ones that have worked for you in 2025, and share some of those wins and maybe fails as well. Now, in our next video, we're going to be talking about how we think that Instagram is more like a blog. So be sure that you check that out, because we're going to give you our thesis of why we think that you need to be there. Hit subscribe and that bell notification so you don't miss any of our videos, and come co-work with us. But for now, that is all, and we will see you next week. Bye.